Hey guys, how you doing today? Andy Martinez Jr., your boy AMJ. Today's video, I am going to talk about lease terms, commercial lease terms. I'm making this video mainly for anybody that's starting a small business, a startup company, or just looking to expand their business from their home into their first commercial space. I'm going to just give you some suggestions on how to look for a property and when you're being offered a lease, things to kind of look at in your lease agreement. But first, if you like what I'm doing, please hit that thumbs up button. It lets the internet know that the information I'm putting out there for you is valuable. We love value. Also, if you're not a subscriber on my YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button. The more subscribers I get, the more thumbs ups I see, the more comments I get, the more engaged I am to continue making these videos. And I know that a lot of people are watching them. I'm getting the responses and the commentary. So please keep those comments coming because I get high on them. All right, so let's get right into it. So you have a business. I have some notes here, by the way. You have your business and you're finally looking for your first space and you are going to need a lease. First thing you need to do, my opinion, you don't have to do this. You can walk in blind, but really the best thing to do is find yourself an agent that does commercial leases. I do commercial leases. If you're in the LA area, hit me up. But anywhere else, find yourself an agent that handles commercial leases. Agents make their money on commissions. So by you having somebody represent you, they will seek out properties based on your criteria. And when it comes time to negotiating a lease, they should be able to put that together for you. On the back end of that, let me just say this. I am not an attorney. I'm a realtor. After you have a lease, finalized lease, when you're getting down to the end of it, just before you sign it and turn it in with your deposit money, I really recommend you have a real estate attorney take a look at it. It's crucial, especially if your lease is a long-term lease. Right now, I'm doing a 10-year lease in Beverly Hills. It's critical that at the end of my process with my clients, they have an attorney take a look at the contract and give them the thumbs up. That being said, let's go into it. So when you see a space and you like a space, a realtor or yourself, you can put together what I call a lease proposal, a proposal to lease, a letter of intent, whatever it is. Let me just give you some context. When it comes to commercial leases, there really is no rule book. It's not really something that is there's an oversight by the government and things like that that kind of regulates what the terms are, like you would be buying a house or renting a home. Commercial deals are leases in particular are different, and it's kind of like you have a conversation. You say, I want this. No, I don't want that. Everything is subject to negotiation. So in my lease proposal, I put down what I think are my basic boilerplate key issues, things that I feel that can really affect my clients in the long run. And just so you know, the lease proposal, it's just a conversation starter. It's just a way of indicating that, hey, I'm interested in the property and what I'm willing to offer is at least close, because prices are always subject to negotiation. Conversation starter. All right, let's get right into it. So the very first thing I have in my lease proposal is, identify the property. So right now, the property that I am looking at is over in Beverly Hills. I put the property address. I identify who my clients are, who's going to be the tenant. So if you were signing, if this was a space for you, just put your name down. You can type this out. You can handwrite this, whatever you want. You can take a screenshot of your handwritten note and email it to the agent or the landlord. It's all good. There's no real structured format for you. The next thing is, like, if you have a price right now, let's say, you're looking at a space that was being offered at $4 a square foot. You might want to consider making them a lower offer, $3, $3.50, $3.75, depending on the area and knowing your market. This is a really good reason why you should have a realtor. Length of the lease terms. This is really where you're going to either Get more money for your build out. If you need some cash allowance, TI money, tenant improvement money to build out your space. Let's say that your space before was a salon, and now you just want to clear all that salon crap out of there and put up a Pilates studio. I did a Pilates studio deal last year. You get some cash allowance, TI, puts the landlord, puts a little skin in the landlord's game. Landlord will come in, clear all that out based on something called cash allowance, TI money. There's usually, for the area in LA, it's a little more expensive, i.e. $45, $50 a square foot. In my area, cash allowance money it's definitely gonna be different from area to area, neighborhood to neighborhood. So the more money let me rephrase that. The longer the length of term of your lease, the more love you're gonna get from the landlord. So for example, if you need a $20,000 build out to get the space to where it needs to be, and they're asking $4 a square foot, and you want it for $3.75 a square foot, but you're coming in with a 1-year lease, you're probably not gonna get shit. Probably. Now, most leases are somewhere between 3 to 5 years, or so you can add something, which I put into my leases. You know, if you want anything longer than 5 years, you can do a 5-year lease and you can add an extra 5-year option. What is an option? The option simply says that, hey, after the 5th year, you give the landlord notice whether you're going to stay and continue doing business out of that location, or it's been nice, but we're moving on. It's always good to have an option in there. It gives you an opportunity to continue doing business, especially if you're having a good experience. Now, this is going to vary from area to area, but every year, just like when you're renting an apartment, let's say, your rent tends to go up. Same thing with commercial leases. In my area, they tend to be between 3 and 4%. In the Beverly Hills area, they can go as high as 4%, especially if you're inside the triangle. 4% is high, but you can always kind of negotiate that down a little bit. Let me see what else. You also want to have a clear commencement date. If your space needs a little bit of build out and you need to be moved in within, like, let's say 60 days, you got to make sure that they're going to be able to deliver that space to you within 60 days. Or if you're taking a space with an existing tenant and the space is already built out and it's perfect for you, you want to make sure that that tenant is going to be out of there in time for you to move in. Hey, just expect that usually you're going to pay about 2 months worth of rent, security deposit, and first month's rent. You kind of turn that in with your final lease. So you got right there 3 months worth of rent. So if your rent is, let's say, $3,000 a month, 2 months for security deposit, that's $6,000 for you to just move in. That's $9,000. Be prepared for that. There's this other thing that I like to usually put into my proposals. These kind of trigger a flag for some of the landlords, but I like to put it in there just so that that conversation is aired out. I think it's something really important to have in the leases. Landlords don't like to put these in there, at least to benefit the tenant. And it's called an early termination agreement. Pretty much what that means is, like, if you sign, let's say, a 5-year lease and you're 3 years into the lease, you want out. Let's say your business is just kicking ass and the space is way too small and it's time for you to move on and outgrow it. Have a conversation with your landlord. If your landlord cannot accommodate you into a bigger space in their building, let's say, or you want to totally relocate, that's fine. Have an early termination clause in there. Usually that gives you an opportunity to say, hey, landlord, I'm going to be out of here in, let's say, 60, 90 days. And there's going to be a fee or a penalty. That could be, let's say, 2 months worth of rent in advance. It would work something like this. They're all different and they can all be worked out in their own individual way. But for example, let's say you've been there for 3.5 years. And in this agreement, you guys agreed to a 90-day notice. So you tell the landlord, hey, in 3 months, we're going to be out of here. And then when those 90 days are up, you can either vacate the property then and then pay the landlord a fee, could be 2 months worth of rent. They can all vary here's another version of that example. You could say, hey, we're going to be out of here in 90 days. And the landlord come back and say, hey, you know what? If you leave tomorrow, I'll only charge you 2 months rent. He might have somebody lined up, ready to go. You can have this conversation with your landlord, but have something built into the ROI so that the conversation gets had in advance. A lot of landlords would like to tell you like, oh, we'll just talk about it, give me notice. That's fine and dandy. A lot of great landlords, they want to have the conversation. They appreciate the notice. They want you to help them find somebody else, or you can help them somebody else. There's a whole bunch of different ways where you can resolve the early termination agreement, or if you got to go, whatever it is. But it's nice to have something in writing just in advance, so you've had this conversation. And you know what, having this type of difficult conversation with your landlord also sets the rapport, and you get a feeling for what kind of a relationship you're gonna have with this person. Because really, if you're entering into a 10-year lease, that is a marriage, and that's a long time. And things, you know, like any good relationship, there's highs and there's lows, and you're gonna have disagreements. So the more things you can have written down on in writing to address those disagreements when they come up, the better. Let me see, what else? Yeah, I think that's pretty good. A couple of things just to note that I think people kind of just don't understand. There's 2 types of square footage in commercial real estate. There's a square footage that usually they are offering or advertising in their, you know, brochure or whatever, if you're looking on LoopNet or whatever other source. So let's say a space has 2,000 square feet. Awesome. Just note, you may not be getting 2,000 square feet, one gigantic box of just 2,000 square feet. In most cases, you are not. You want to find out what the usable square footage is. This is where you get your TI money, and this is where you multiply. If they're going to give you $10 a square foot to fix it, they're not going to give you 2,000 square feet times 10, whatever that is, $20,000 to repair the place. They're going to give it to you based on what the usable square footage is. So just note that. And anything else I really want to add, read the contract. There's always, you know, there can always be different types of fees associated. There's this thing called triple net, full gross, modified gross. These are also very important, and let me just hit them up really quick. Triple net means that, you know, usually you are responsible for portions of the building's maintenance, insurance, janitorial, common area. This, it can be an addition to your rent. So they'll say, hey, the rent is, let's say, you know, $200 a month, but then, you know, they're gonna charge you 30 cents a square foot for the triple net. Look out for that. That's an additional cost. Full service gross, everything is built into the rent. So all those fees I just mentioned that are in the triple net are usually built into that, into your rent agreement. Also, thoroughly read that contract. A lot of smaller companies, I think, you know, they build in a lot of fees, transaction fees, relocation fees. If, you know, landlord has the right to relocate you within their building, look for that one too. Just a small example as to how that can happen. If you're on a floor that has 50,000 square feet and you're only utilizing 5,000 square feet, and some company wants to come in and take all 50,000 square feet, the landlord can relocate you. Just know that they are in charge, responsible for paying your relocation fees. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. Note, get a realtor at the back end, have an attorney review your lease agreement. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. You can DM me, write me a comment. If you're in the LA area and you're looking for a commercial space, hit me up. I'm easy to find, I'm right here. And if you feel like this information has been valuable, please hit that thumbs up button, hit subscribe. I really appreciate all the love and attention that I've been getting from these videos. There will be more to come. Hope you all are having an amazing 2020 thus far. Thank you for the support and the love. AMJ, subscribe. Good luck. Bye now.